See, it's stuff like this that gives me trust issues.
Welcome to the Trust Issues podcast. We have trust issues with the traditional society-dictated path, with the status quo, with the whole get an education, land a job, and work tirelessly until you're 6 feet under. It's time to upgrade your life with the help of us. I'm Erika.
And I'm Kyle Auckland. We're a husband and wife duo, but we're also entrepreneurs, biohackers, and business builders.
Every week, we're dedicated to having purposeful conversations with each other and leading experts on topics like wellness, relationships, and entrepreneurship.
Subscribe to Trust Issues Podcast if you're looking for bold topics, honest dialogue, and valuable lessons. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Trust Issues Podcast. Today we have an exciting episode. We have a 3-part mini-series that we're going to be working on, and this is part 1. So this is going to be cultivating the right sales mindset for your business. And this is exciting because Erika here, you are the marketing whiz. You've been in this for a very long time. So I cannot wait to dive in and chat with you about this.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
You're going to ask me some questions.
I can't wait.
It's going to get juicy. And
Yes.
For those of you who may or may not know, I'm actually a leader in a network marketing company.
Yes.
And I've done a few keynote speeches, and I've been really just honored and blessed to be able to lead a pretty badass big team.
Yes.
And build an amazing business. And I really love to teach this because it's directly related to what I do in my business every single day and all of the women that I help and mentor. And these are top questions I get asked a lot.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to make this really relevant, really like cut through the noise, give you all of the tea that you've been asking for. So let's dive into it. And I really feel like all of this stuff is so crucial for achieving your goals. So if you are in a business currently, it doesn't matter what industry you're in,
Yes.
you can benefit from this series. It's going to be a 3-part series, like Kyle said, and we're going to give you all the tea. So let's dive into it.
Yeah. Questions. Okay. So why is your mindset so important for making sales?
Gosh, mindset's everything.
Yeah.
You know, I think that in my journey as an entrepreneur, before I even started making sales, I had to have the mindset for it. The mindset actually, I believe, has to come first. You know, you have to believe in what it is that you're selling. You have to believe in the value that you're bringing.
Yeah.
You have to believe that what you're selling is something that can transform someone's life.
Yeah.
If you don't carry that belief, if you don't carry that mindset, it's felt, right? Like energy is just so tangible. You can feel when someone's bullshitting you.
Yep.
And you can feel when someone is authentic and they genuinely are obsessed with what it is that they're talking about. And there's a drastic difference between the two. And so for me, when I first started as an entrepreneur, before I was even in the business that I'm doing today, I really worked so heavily on my mindset. A book that just completely changed my life, actually, just a little book drop that I want to plug, is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I read this book and it changed my life because he talks so much about what's on the other side of fear. He talks about actually one of the elements of the book that changed my life so much was that fear is just excitement without breath. And I think when you're in sales or you're trying to sell anything, it doesn't matter if you're trying to sell coaching, if you're trying to sell a product, a physical product, a digital product, you could feel all sorts of feelings, all types of ways about what it is that you do. You know, nervous, what are people going to think? What if I sell it and they hate it? What if, I promote it and they think I'm scammy? Or what if they, even just like, what are the people from back home, from where I'm from? What are they going to say?
Yeah, that's so good.
And, it's just like, it's not that scary. And fear is excitement without breath. So it's like, just breathe, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Mel Robbins that shit and just go and do it. But I think that there is an element of like really creating some mental toughness around what it is that you're doing, because there's going to be people who have something to say, positive, negative. And I always say like the positive and the negative feedback really is the same for me. It's all neutral. It's all good feedback, but it's not going to sway me one way or the other. It's not going to make me feel less valuable than the other. It's going to just give me feedback so I can change something, I can shift something. But your mindset is everything, because your mindset is going to be what carries you through in the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had so many lows in my business, in my many businesses.
I was going to say that even before. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I think I can look back and I'm like, what was the thing that kept me going? It was my strength in my mental toughness. It was my personal strength. It was truly like so much deep belief.
Yeah.
I think about some of the greats, who create, Amazon, Jeff Bezos. I think about the image. If you've ever seen the image of him when he was starting Amazon, it's like him in some dingy office, in a garage, right? Was it in a garage?
Yeah.
And, there's like a sketchy ass looking sign on the wall. It says like Amazon. You probably got it printed at, Office Max or Staples or something. It's like so beginner.
Yeah.
And, his beginning, and like imagine how many people were like, this is never going to work. This is never. It's like gosh. You have to know that the only reason that the man is who he is today is because he was so tenacious and he was so like persistent and he was so dedicated. So mindset is everything. It's the basis of everything that you do. If you do not have the mindset, if you don't have the faith and the belief in what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're selling, people will sniff that a mile away and they'll take you seriously or they won't, So I think it's so important to have that for how you're perceived, but also to keep going, to like say, doesn't matter. It does not matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what they perceive of me. I know where I'm going and I'm so solid in that. And it's a hard thing to create. I'm not going to lie. It's a hard thing. It's like building muscle. You have to practice it.
That's a great way to put it.
Every single time that something hard comes up, every single time you get a no, every single time someone, gives you a negative piece of feedback, it's an opportunity to strengthen that muscle, And so I always look back and I'm like, okay, every single hard thing that I've gone through it was growth. It wasn't bad, It wasn't negative. It didn't deter me. It grew me. It made me stronger. So I think mindset is everything. The Big Leap is a great book to start.
I mean, and I can attest to that with you. Like I'm even through college, you started working on your mindset and you didn't even have a clear picture of like what route you were going to go with life. You just knew that whatever you did, like you were going to be leading it and be at the front of it. So you almost knew that you would get backlash and you had to have, a strong mind going forward.
And it's not to say that I'm not human, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Just like anyone listening, I struggle with confidence. I struggle with just faith and belief in myself or how things are going to work out. But I think I always come back. It's like full circle. I always come back to like my purpose. And I think that when you have a strong purpose and what it is that you're doing, the mindset can follow that.
Yeah.
But like I said, mindset's the foundation. Like you said, I was in college and I was already working on my mindset. Like, you have to see it in your mind before it happens.
Your millionaire coffee mug.
Yeah, I had a coffee mug in college that I got.
Yeah, that was like
I still have it.
Like Future Millionaire or something.
Future Millionaire. It's in the office right now.
Yeah,
it's like and that was a very accurate depiction of like me just starting to create this new belief in myself. And it's very much identity too. And I think that one thing to say about mindset is that there's identity versus outcome. So outcome good. Is like, I want this to happen. I want this money. I want this goal. I want this fill in the blank. Identity is I'm this person. Yeah. I am a high achiever. I am a winner. I am successful. I am fill in the blank, whatever fits for you and the words that you resonate. But I started creating this identity very early on before I had any money, before I had any dollars in the bank, and before I had a successful business. I was like, no, I am this person. All the results just have to come. I'm waiting for them, but they're coming because I was creating that identity. So it is so powerful, and it truly is the foundation that you need for any success that you're creating in your life.
That's great. You summed it up. And like I said, seeing you on this journey of all these years now and how you've worked on this, and it's like, because there are the haters and people who are like, oh, you're just lucky. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. And it's like,
no, girl.
That can mess with you, but
there's no luck here. I promise you. I've fallen and failed just as many times as anybody else. So you just have to keep getting back up.
All right. Next question. What are the types of beliefs about money and sales a good marketer should have?
Gosh, I want to plug Grant Cardone in this.
Ooh.
Dude, his book, Sell or Be Sold, is
so good.
So fire.
Yeah.
And he talks about how people do not need to believe. They need to know that you believe. And this is like the basis for any good salesperson. And I think that like we can all have like feel some type of way when it comes to thinking about sales, because I mean, growing up, you go into the mall. I haven't been to a mall in a decade. I don't know, like so long. But if you go into a mall, you have those little people at the kiosk and they're like chasing you down, trying to like put cream on your hand. And you're just like, get out of here. Or obviously we all know the analogy of these sleazy car salesmen, right?
Sure.
Like we all have that association in our mind, but really we have to understand that sales is life. Sales is life. If you are a parent,
Everyone's in sales.
we are all in sales. Yes. If you're a parent, you are selling your child on eating.
Yeah.
This morning, you made breakfast for Dawson.
Yes.
He was sitting at the table, and I came downstairs, and that was the biggest mistake because
Yeah,
I came downstairs and distracted him, and now he was chasing mommy, and I'm
Yeah.
like, now I'm trying to convince him to sit back down. Come on, buddy, it's breakfast. Daddy made French toast. It's so good. Like, eat your breakfast. And I go upstairs. I'm hearing him cry. I'm hearing you tell him,
like,
come on, buddy, eat your breakfast. He hardly ate any breakfast.
Yeah.
It's like you're selling him on that. You know, if you're in a relationship with a spouse, you're like wanting to hook up that night. I don't know, like you're gotta sell it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like you're selling it. If you are someone who's a baker and you make the world's best freaking donuts in the world or whatever, you know, the best sourdough. I'm a sucker for sourdough. So let's just use that analogy. You have to sell people on why your product is the best. I actually had one of my first businesses that I ever had was a cookie company. It was Honest Goodness. And I remember going to flea markets and farmers markets in our hometown.
Yep.
And there was one that I went, shout out to Percy, Pennsylvania, because that's where I'm from. All right. And Percy, PA has this cute little farmers market in their downtown square. Dude, it's so small. Like, it's so cute. There's not that many people there. But, you know, like, I'm this young girl who's baking cookies, and then there's people coming up to me like, oh, what is it that you have there? Like, what are the ingredients? Why does it taste good? You know, like, I think I had a couple samples out, people to try, but I'm selling them on my product, you know? So it's like, if you are feeling some type of way about sales and you're feeling icky, you're not understanding that sales are just life. Sales are the lifeblood of how we live our life today, because we're constantly being, you know, sold to ourselves, which in my opinion, sales are transformation. If I can sell someone a product, how many of us are bombarded every single day by Instagram ads? I had an Instagram ad yesterday, and it was a product that was talking about like anti-aging and longevity, and it was such like good science behind it. I bought the product. Okay. I was like, bye. Instagram ads got me. Okay.
They do.
But if that product changes my life, if that product makes me feel better, if that product helps me age better, gives me more energy, it was worth the buy. I'm glad the person sold it to me. I'm glad they put the Instagram up. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for us to understand that it's not a bad thing to sell. It is the way of life. It's the society that we live in.
Yeah.
So you can be a part of that. You can be a part of the marketplace. So believe in what you are selling so much that you are so passionate about it that it doesn't even feel like you're really selling.
Yeah.
You're just like, I want to change people's lives. I want to give them something that's going to make them feel better, look better, whatever it is that you do. Whatever it is that you sell.
That's so good, because even when you mentioned Grant Cardone, though, like his quote, a lot of people mistake that as fake it till you make it.
It's not that.
Because and everyone, fake it. It's like, no. Like, believe in what you're doing, even if you don't have this crazy success yet. Because then, you know, you're living proof of that. People will jump on with you you know, that's what they've done.
Yeah. And if you're having a hard time connecting to the belief
Yeah.
of what you're doing, look at the product that it is that you have, physical or digital, depending on the industry that you're in. I'll just use my example, and I'm in a hair care brand. Before I used these hair care products, my hair was so busted. I had a lot of insecurities around my hair. Yeah. I remember living in South Florida. My hair was falling out. I remember looking in the drain. I had so much hair in the drain. My hair was so frizzy. It was so brassy. It was so unmanageable. I wanted to buzz it all off. I multiple times told you, I'm going to buzz all my hair off.
Well, and it's like, too, we were always in the gym. So
we were in the gym. I was sweaty.
Tight bun, and
and I was just like so insecure about my hair, and I felt super just like, I don't like my hair. Yeah. And I just wore it up all the time. And so I had a friend that I had met. She messaged me on Instagram and wanted to send me samples. And, you know, I had my little like feeling about it because, you know, she's trying to sell me.
Sure.
I am so glad she sent me that message. I'm so glad she sent me that sample. My hair right now might be in a slick back bun, but girl, my hair is the best hair it has ever been. I feel so confident about my hair. I can let it air dry. So that's an example of how someone sold me a product that changed my confidence, that changed my life. So I think that just summarizes it perfectly.
It did, yeah. And even, you know, with your hair journey there, it's like you started using the products before you even started selling anything.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
And I was like, oh wait, I have to sell these because I believe in them so much.
Yes.
I mean, I used them for almost a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, my hair, like this, it was a feeling of confidence that I wanted other people to have. So that was easy for me to honestly share. So if you are struggling with the connection of like that belief and like, oh, like I want people to have this feeling, maybe talk to other people or maybe you're just not in the right business. I don't know, but you got to have that feeling. You got to believe in it. So this is good.
So good. So good.
If you're a content creator, you need a social media strategy to market your business, and we're here to help. Say hello to our brand new social media content planner, specifically designed to help you make sales online.
This free planner is the ultimate tool for anyone who wants to take their social media game to the next level. In it, you'll learn how to identify your ideal client, how to tell stories that connect with them, how to define your content buckets. Plus, we even provided a planner for you to easily plan and organize your content every month.
We want you to always have a consistent and engaging presence on social media that's designed to be flexible and adaptable, so you can adjust your strategy as needed. So whether you're a social media pro or you're just starting out, head to trustissuespodcast.co/sales to download our free social media content planner.
Again, that's trustissuespodcast.co/sales to streamline your content creation process today. All right, next question. Does visualization play an important role in sales strategy?
Yeah, I totally think so. I think that if you can't see, you have to be futuristic. If you can't see the future in terms of like what it could look like for you or what it could look like for other people, you're probably too much in your head.
Yeah.
You're probably too much in it yourself. When I say that, I mean like, I think a lot of people who are in business for themselves, whatever they're selling, they struggle to get out of their own way because they're so in their head around what are people going to say, their perception of what it is that they're doing. You could be selling mason jars. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But if you are stuck in your own shit, you can't get out of that to say like, what could this look like if I helped 5 people, if I helped 10 people, if I helped 100 people? If you can't see that, you're probably just caught up.
Yeah.
So I think this is honestly a really simple answer. Yes, absolutely. Visualizing it is so important. It is also very helpful for your business. And I think that for me, I'm constantly visualizing. I'm so futuristic.
That's what I was literally going to say. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I wonder how she's going to answer this question, because I've seen you on your journey. Literally, you are so futuristic. You are just subconsciously always thinking about like, where is this going to be in 5 years? If I do this, what is it? So like, you've taught me to be more futuristic. I was not futuristic. So I was wondering how you're going to answer this, because it's like your visualization of the future, it's just so natural to you. So like, you know, it is a huge piece.
So if you're someone who maybe like Kyle, who struggles to visualize and struggles to see the future and what it could be, a great exercise would be to sit down by yourself, blank piece of paper. You need to do pen to paper, because pen to paper has proven how you actually retain information in your brain is just so much more. I don't know its exact statistic. We could maybe pull that for you guys, but it's a proven strategy. Pen to paper, you will retain more information. So write down, if your life could be exactly what you wanted it to be, what would it look like? If there was no obstacles, if you could literally have a magic wand and wave it in the air and boom, this is what your business looks like. This is what your income looks like. This is what your lifestyle looks like. This is how you feel about it. This is what it feels like to wake up in the morning knowing that this is your life and this is the person that you are. Get so nitty-gritty detailed. That's going to get your juices flowing. Oftentimes we don't get into the future because we're living so in the past. We're living so in the present. It's important to have, perspective. We need to look back. Reflection is important. Being in the present is also obviously very important. But if you're someone who's trying to create the future, you have to be in the future too. You have to be thinking about it. So writing that down. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What are the details of it? Every single day I think about my future. I mean, gosh.
You do.
And even to the detail, I'm so psycho about the detail of it too, around like, I'm thinking about the next girl who I'm going to work with. I can like literally see her face. I know exactly like her name. I can like see our first conversation and how that's going to feel when I get on the call with her. And then when I get off the call with her, her excitement, how that's going to make me feel. I'm going to see her first win happening. I literally journal about this stuff, you guys. I literally write it down because I'm actively creating it. And it's like kind of the idea of when the teacher is ready, the students will come. It's like when you are ready and you've paved the way, you've set up everything that is available for your new person that you're going to work with in the next sale that you're going to have for them to receive. Like you can't do it backwards, like you can't be like, oh, it's just suddenly like fell in my lap. That's very, very rare. That's that's unicorn. So know that preparation's important and visualization's a huge part of that. So this is so juicy. I love this combo.
And that's like, because like I said, I was not very futuristic. And one thing that I learned from you and started implementing was just writing things down, your thoughts, your processes. And it's like, from someone who, like myself, comes from not being futuristic, I know I can say I wasn't thinking about the future because I had a fear of, even if I thought about it, it wouldn't come to pass. Like, it was like,
Whoa.
oh, why even think about it like that if I know maybe I can't achieve that, or it's not going to work.
But the only way you achieve something is
Yes.
by actively creating it. It's
Yes.
like you are co-creating it.
Yes.
Like, there's other people involved, right? But you have to do your work to create
Yeah.
it. So that's really good. I'm sure a lot of people resonate with that.
Yes, that was so good. All right, let's keep moving on. How can someone identify what they're naturally good at when it comes to marketing?
It's a great question. I think, do you have anyone who can help you figure that out? I think you need a mentor. You know, there's a lot that you can figure out on your own. You can totally have moments of self-reflection, maybe journal.
Yeah.
What kind of comes natural to you? If you weren't getting paid for something, would you do that thing? You know, what would you do if you didn't have to worry about the money? You know, when it comes to marketing yourself, is there something that lights you up, that makes you feel excited?
Yeah.
Are you excited to post content? Are you excited to do in-person networking? Are you excited to have one-on-one connections with people? What are the things that light you up? That's probably a good indicator.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, oftentimes we resist things that we need to pursue too. So
Yeah.
that's not always the rule. You know, it can be sometimes. But I think this is where having a mentor is important, because I've learned so much from people who know more than I do and who can reflect back to me. So I've worked with a lot of mentors in the past few years. Actually, the past decade, I've worked with a lot of mentors. I've worked with John Maxwell. I've worked with Todd Duncan. I've worked with so many different amazing people who have helped me on my journey. And it's through some of those conversations that I've had my breakthroughs.
Yeah.
I also think having colleagues and people that are in the industry with you that you can collaborate with is really powerful, because that way the two of you can kind of see something in each other that maybe you can't see in yourself.
Yeah.
And so I have some colleagues and some friends in my industry who have taught me so much, honestly, probably like taught me more than anyone, just because, you know, it's like a friendship. And the thing is that when you want the same things, you both are willing to help each other. I don't know, when it's a healthy friendship. I've also had unhealthy friendships too in this industry. So it's having the right ones. But I think when you open yourself up to be mentored and to be coachable is when you can figure those things out, because I truly feel like we're not meant to do things alone. And if you're trying to be successful, we stand on the shoulders of giants. So that means like I get to stand on the shoulders of people like John Maxwell and Todd Duncan, because the things that they've learned in their 20, 40, plus years, I don't know, I get to learn from them, and I get to like pull the tools that they have and pull the strategies that they have and use them for myself. And I couldn't figure those things out alone. I'm 34 years old. I've been working for myself for a decade, but it's not that long,
Yeah.
And so learning from other people is everything. So I would say get a mentor, have somebody that you can work with and that can call you out, but you have to be coachable. And that's the key, because you could have people who see things in you. You could have people who tell you, this is the way that I think you should go, or this is what I think you're innately really good at. But if you are not available for that feedback, if you're not available to pivot, if you're not available to hear it, it's not going to be worth much.
Yeah.
So I think coachability is super important too.
No, and even just kind of riding off that, because I experienced that. I joined just a small coaching circle for trainers and stuff. And that was literally one thing we did. It was like, we ran around, we looked at everyone's social media who was in the group, and like we observed for a little bit. And then we kind of did the practice of like you can go around and ask each other, like whether it's private message or whatever, and just ask them like, what do you see when I'm like, what do you see in me?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think I offer people? What could I change? What's good, what's bad, that type of thing. All right. So final question here. What's your advice for someone who says they aren't the sales type?
I would say be very careful around how you identify yourself, because what you say about yourself is true, and you can learn anything that you want to learn. You can change anything about who you are today and become better at something that maybe you weren't innately gifted at. I'll give you an example. I have always said about myself that I'm not disciplined. I've always said that I'm not consistent. And ironically, I took a test. It's called the Strengths Finder. So it's Gallup Strengths Finder. It's 34 top strengths that pretty much all of us in society have. And you have a top 5. And I took the test. Sure enough, my bottom strengths consistency and discipline. And I kept saying, I'm not disciplined. I'm not consistent. I'm not this. I'm not that.
You used to always say that.
Yeah. And what the hell was wrong with me, because I was creating my reality. And so I took that test and you took it too. And at the top of yours was discipline, responsibility.
I know, yep.
And I was like, damn it. Like he has the things that I don't. And, obviously I think it's super easy.
And you had things that I didn't, that I wanted.
That throws it to my point.
Oh,
Like
okay,
I was
yes.
going to say, like we all do that. We're all like, well, they are that. They are a salesperson. They're so good at that. Do you know what they had to do to get good at that? Do you know the work, the effort, the discipline, the consistency, the, skill set that they had to build in order to have that thing that maybe you feel that you're lacking? And I mean, we don't ever really fully see the picture behind the scenes, right? So I started to change this identity about myself, and I started to say, I am disciplined, I am consistent. And it's funny because I've become really disciplined and really consistent.
Really have, yeah.
And I had a conversation so for anyone who's like on this call, or for anyone who's listening right now, and you are saying this about yourself, you're saying, I'm not a salesperson. And you could apply this to anything, fill in the blank. This is something that my mentor, John Maxwell, actually told me. I had an opportunity to ask him about this because I said, I'm struggling with this and I'm not good at this. And he was like, well, you need to be mindful of attaching yourself to an identity like this, and you can change it. So here's what he said. He said, do something for a week. Do something for a week. So in this case, if you want to be better at sales, share your product, promote your product, talk about your product to people, have one-on-one conversations about your product with people. Do that consistently for a week. At the end of the week, celebrate it. I was like, celebrate it? I'm not naturally like someone who just like celebrates things like this. I'm like, what am I celebrating? I don't get it. He's like, no, you have to celebrate it because psychologically, we actually have to give ourselves, and this is from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, we actually have to give ourselves these little rewards. We actually have to it's like a dopamine hit. We have to tell ourselves that what we're doing is good so that we actually want to keep doing it. So if you are saying about yourself that I'm not good at this, okay, well, cut the bullshit because you can be good at this. Absolutely. So change the language first. Number 2, I want you to start doing it, okay? And just do it for 7 days. Just do it for a week. And after that week, celebrate it and be like, this is a huge deal. Oh my gosh, like take yourself out for ice cream. I don't know. What do you want to do? What's your type of celebration? Go get your nails done, whatever. I don't know how you would celebrate as a guy, but like. Yeah,
no, yeah. You're spot on. Celebrate the small wins.
Right.
Yeah.
So celebrate that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do it again. And you're going to celebrate it again. You're going to do it again. You're going to celebrate it again. And then what you're going to actually create is it's actually like creating a new neural pathway in your brain. But now you are like, I am this person. So have you ever, maybe if you went to high school with someone, years later you see them and you're like, whoa, like they're a totally different person. Maybe in high school they weren't super athletic, but now they're super fit and they've completely changed their life. And you're like, what happened? They changed their identity. But the way that they changed their identity was little by little, step by step, week by week, win by win. And slowly over time, now they've become this thing. It's like the idea that in fitness, it's actually scientifically proven that data says that if you work out for 6 months straight, you now will become the person who will work out for the rest of your life. It just takes 6 months. So it's the same thing in this. I don't have necessarily the data on sales and that, but I would assume it's pretty similar. So you need to first change your identity, change your language around it, give yourself those little rewards after little wins, and just start doing it. I was not a natural salesperson. I had never sold a product, a physical product in my life. I never worked in retail. I worked in the restaurant industry, so I was selling people burritos, okay? Yeah. But I was never selling a physical product.
Yeah.
So it was out of my comfort zone. How did I do it? At first, it was super awkward. It was super clunky, but I was so committed to creating the identity around it that this was going to be something that I was going to do.
Yeah.
6 years later, it's just what I do. I don't even think about it. It's like a reflex. It just happens. So if you're saying that about yourself, know that it can change, but you have to be willing to change it.
Yeah. Even like the journey with Monat, like even in the very beginning, you didn't know how everything worked. You didn't even know how like the financial plan worked with everything. But literally you had this crazy belief of like, oh, I'm doing this and I believe in it.
Yeah.
And it's like you took off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Super powerful.
Thanks for listening to the Trust Issues podcast. If you loved this episode, you need to subscribe because we have 2 more episodes just like this where we're getting into the nitty gritty on sales. They're coming this week. You want to listen to them. They're going to be super good. So we'll see you on the next episode.